All right. Let me make sure. All right. It is week 40 of What Did Prince Do This Week? We got Sister Charles in the chat. Hold on. Let's see what's going on. Why did my colors change?
Man, you just got me right into the 80s. Right off the gate.
Okay, that's better. All right. We got Man Ray 10. I don't like that. Let's do that. Nope. Yeah, that's what we want. And we got Raywin in the house. Welcome. We got Dr. Claw in the house. We got Linda Lamb. We got a special shout out to Michael Dean.
What up, Raven?
We got D in the house.
What's up, D? And Dr. Claw?
Prayers and positivity coming your way from New York City. We got Marquise Robertson. I love this. What's up, Purple? And then we got Arlene. Happy Saturday from Canada. We have our timekeeper, an AT alien. Kim, welcome. All right. We got Deja. We got Lisa Williams. H-Town in the house. We got D68A. Yes, 1 week closer to the Purple Rain Tour starting. Thank you so much for your channel. We have a couple of videos from your channel this week in the accompanying playlist. We got Chris Bournet in the house. And this song never gets old, so that's why we're playing it. But we're playing it for a reason, and you'll figure out why. We got Tanja all through the night. We got Theo. We got 71. We got Marilyn in the house. Okay, we'll say MFs. How is that? Purple MFs. All right. Yes. Raywin knows what's up. A million miles. That's right. It's okay. Thank you for stopping by, Barbara Y. Welcome, Tracy Humphrey. All right. We got Audrey, another AT alien. We got Marcus G tapping in. This is my favorite part. We're going to vibe out just for a second. Because this is what it's all about, the music. We got Moochits from Philly.
This is just giving me like the extended scene. Things are okay, but we could be doing much better.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday to our purple sister, Vanessa.
Vanessa! Yeah, happy birthday.
The bass. We got El Michelle. Love your cat lover avatar. We miss her.
Yes, indeed.
We got Ricky in the chat. Hope you are well. Yes, the legend, Vanessa. We got TL Foreman actually doing a DJ set of Prince in VR right now. Yes, VR. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, no worries. Okay. D68A has shared with us rehearsal from September 21st, 1984. Thank you so much.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And we got Purple Cat Confetti. Yes, hang with your friends and family. You can come back and watch this later, but thank you so much for stopping by so we get to see your wonderful avatar of Prince sticking out his tongue, one of my favorites. That's right, Chris. One of Sheila's best drum solos of all time right here. We got to keep this vibe going all weekend. And we have a happy birthday to Barbara, even though it's tomorrow.
Ain't never too early to start, Barbara White. Ain't never too early to start.
All right. This is why we're doing this. Theo is not familiar with this song, but Theo's digging it. That's really, really awesome. This is Apollonia 6, A Million Miles, written by this guy, some guy named Prince. And it is an extraordinary song. It doesn't get enough love. And the reason why I pulled that out is that technically this week in 1984, October 1st, this album was released, Apollonia 6. And I think somebody agreed with me that this was really Brenda 6 because Brenda is on the back cover and not Apollonia. Just think about that. So...
And I would add to Brother Theo that that's a cool thing because I actually slept on the Apollonia 6 album really all these years, other than Sex Shooter.
I know where you was going with that for a second.
Yeah,
I actually slept with Apollonia.
The breaking news right here.
Like, okay, what flex on?
What kind of documentaries we running?
Yeah, is this what we're doing now? When the money's low, but anyway.
So yeah, so I slept on that album for years, like other than Sex Shooter, and I think it was maybe one other jam. And so I always give it up to what did Prince do this week? Hashtag why do people dance this weird? That it really made me. I came back to this album, and I've gone from 2 songs to 4 songs now, and that's what I think this is for. Is that there are a lot of things that you miss. And you go back to it. I always say, like, for me, going back to Prince is like there's a novel that I love, Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. And every time I read Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man, I find something that I miss. And so every time I go back to Prince's work, whether it's things that he did for himself or things that he did for others, you go like, oh, crap. You either missed it or you forgot how great it was. And so that's one of the gifts for me for what did Prince do this week is you get to kind of circle back on some things. And so I'm glad that Brother Theo put that in the chat because, again, I'm a testament. I'm a living witness that you can be re-put back on something. That's it.
Oh, speaking of which, I don't know, Michael, if you wanted to say something, but I got to say this super quick. Someone posted on Twitter, I'm still calling it Twitter, the Sheila E. performance where Prince joined Sheila E. on stage with the entire revolution, and they performed a Love Bazaar. I have seen that a gazillion times. I was at work and I just started watching it over and over and over again. It is such an incredible performance. I personally think it is really up there with like the Super Bowl performance, with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame performance.
Better, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And it was just something about the image quality of the person who uploaded it. And it was just like really extraordinary. And in fact, I really should try to, I want to make sure I give proper credit because this person brought me so much joy. And that was GRR Reynolds 3 on Twitter. Also goes by OG. So OG, wherever you are, thank you so much for bringing me so much joy this week. I hadn't watched it in a while, but that is like a gift that keeps on giving, that particular performance.
That performance and what he does after that would be an awesome addition to a future box set or something.
Like yes.
So we could see like what happens after he throws the hang down and who was that? Somebody's guitar kind of goes down a little bit.
That was Wendy, I believe.
Yeah, he's like, he about to get crazy. I'm like, what's about to happen?
Yes, that is definitely one of the performers. And I love, I don't know, because you know how much I love Under the Cherry Moon, and he has on his Christopher Tracy jacket. So
Oh, yeah.
things about to pop off. So
Full effect. Yeah.
yes, he also has on that Christopher Tracy jacket in the America video, which is one of my other favorite videos. So whenever that Christopher Tracy jacket comes out, like things are about to happen.
Yeah.
So,
That's another performance that they could put the whole thing of that out. The America thing. What other songs that they did that time? We still a lot we gotta see, man.
yeah, so much we still need to see. You're absolutely right. Okay, so many people here, and I got to give some shout outs to Rodney. It's the trifecta. Love that. Welcome, Olga. Welcome, Christina. Welcome back, Mr. Dean.
What's up, Christina?
And we got Ronald Dagley from sunny Maryland. And we have Jesse. I miss you. You should come visit.
I wish that I had Jesse's hair.
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
Some locks like that.
How can I get some locks like that, like Jesse's locks?
Yeah, that's his song right there. Now every time we see Jesse, Jesse's locks.
That's right. Jesse, we're going to be art studio hopping if you want to join us today. Just FYI. Jesse lives close to me, so that's the reason why we can do these kinds of things. We can be spontaneous if we want.
Not wrong.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. All right. We got Clarissa in the house. And let's see. Did we miss it? We got Niv. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, please. I'm so sorry if I didn't. Yes, Brenda was all over that. And I'm sure I'm missing a lot. Oh, I love this, Tracy. Yes, hearing Prince's vocals on any song is actually pretty extraordinary. Mm-hmm. So let's see. This is a good question. Let's answer this. Apollonia 6 sex shooter versus Vanity 6 nasty girl. I know which one I'm choosing.
I'm nasty girl. Yeah, I'm going the first album all day.
Yeah.
My puberty is gonna answer. So nasty girl, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Not, by the time sex shooter came along, I was, but nasty girl made a main out of me. That girl I met in the hi-hat club that time. So yeah, I had to go with nasty girl.
Oh wait, was this is
yes? I'm glad you put that on the screen
between the two sons.
Yeah.
Yeah, nasty girl. Day stop playing.
Cause is that the Sonic 2022 that's giving us all that great content?
That is him.
Oh, bro! Look. Thank you, whoever you is. I don't need no documentary from no Netflix or nobody else. I got the greatest documentary from Sonic to Sonic 22. If you ain't seen this person's work, I have no idea who it is. I don't know if it's male. He's not a woman. He's not a man. He's something you could never comprehend.
You were like
22. If you have not seen what this person has done on YouTube, you have missed out. It is probably the greatest documentary on Prince that I have ever heard or seen. Congrats to whoever you are. We appreciate you. That's it.
Yes, we do. We so appreciate you. And I'll put some in the accompanying playlist for this week. And for those of you who may not have seen them, they are really extraordinary. I know that you put in tons of work. So we appreciate all that you do for sure. And we have
it's fantastic. The Michael Jackson stuff is just as fantastic as well.
Yeah.
I know, of course I know who you are. You need to come on the show. He doing that I'm hiding type thing, secretive. I get it.
I understand. I personally understand. So we thank you for your service because you're putting work in. You're working it like a job, as Michael Dean would say. And we have my literature brother, Blade Brown. And let's see. And then let's see. We got Drea Dances in the house. And I want to read Chris Bournet's comment. We're going back to the Love Bazaar because we can't talk about that. If that performance was the zenith of the revolution and the sign of the times, love sexy bands on stage together, a true supergroup before Bonnie, Boyer, and Kat, of course, who are both no longer with us. And we got Chad, hello from Minneapolis. And let's see. All right. Okay. I think we got everything. If I missed someone, my apologies, but a lot has happened in the chat since we spoke. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's do
What
this.
up, Reggie?
Let's do the housekeeping with the quickness. And this is What Did Prince Do This Week? Week number 440. This is a very slow read of Dwayne $2 Prince Studio Sessions. And I need to stress also a Saturday salon because we talk about other stuff. that's what that means. We talk about other stuff. And we're here every Saturday at noon. And we're going week to week, not day to day, in Dwayne's book. And if you want to follow the detailed schedule, meaning what pages you should be reading for the week, you can go to this QR code or this bit.ly link. You do not need the expanded edition, but this is what we are reading. This is it, one with the blue title. But it's okay if you don't have the expanded edition, you can still follow along because you can. What can you do, C. Lee, if you don't have the expanded edition? Follow the dates.
Oh, follow the dates. There you go. Follow the dates, like C. Lee. There you go. Follow the dates. And it don't take 2 years to learn that you can follow the dates. So it took me 2 years to go, oh, damn. August 15th. That's what page we on.
Over there pulling a Biden.
Yeah, I was. I did. I pulled a Biden. I froze. I literally froze. I like, what can we do? I'm not really sure.
Oh my God. Yes. And I love this, Michael Parks. Take notes. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. So, yes. And yes, El Michelle, there's a lot of great content for what did Prince do this week alone. So we cover a lot every week to week. All right. So these will be archived at Polished Solid as well as at MDean. Please subscribe, like, and help spread the word. We really appreciate it. To get the word out about how much Prince was working every week. That's the reason why we want you to subscribe, like, and help spread the word. It wasn't magic. He was working hard. So our hashtag is WDPDTW for Why Do People Dance This Weird? And that is our email, which is going to come in handy because we're about to embark on the Purple Rain Tour. So we want your tour tickets. We want your candid photos. We want anything that you want to share with us. And even if you want to come on and talk about your experience, we would love to hear from you. So that's how you get in touch with us. And
don't be to post them Jerry Curl pictures. Don't act like you have. Do not be ashamed. Shut your sound down.
Yeah.
Get that last bit in the corner. Get that last corner.
That's right. Okay.
You check the pillowcase. That's
Ooh,
the truth.
My goodness.
The pillowcase is tore up, juiced up, or the collar of their jacket. Check the collar of the jacket. That's when you know. Got build up with juice. Lord.
Yes.
But real quick, real unrelated, because this is a salon. Back in those days, we all had Jerry curls. I mean, my boy, when we used to work at McDonald's, right? And my man Steve, I ain't gonna say his last name, but shout out to Steve. He had his curl early. He had one of them early curls, so the technology hadn't really all the way clicked in. So he was, used a lot of juice. And we used to work in the back of the grill. This is back when you manually was flipping burgers back in the day. So we back there in the grill and it's hot. This in the hood. My man Steve back there, we back there on the grill. He on the grill. Think of Steve would be like a 15-year-old Mr. T. Like that's what he was, the Mr. T of the neighborhood, but he was our age.
I pity fool who curl ain't right.
So it's kind of funny. My man Steve had the Jerry curl on. He had this is back when we used to wear sweatbands, so he had that on, but it was hot. And so he had a mixture of Jerry juice. So no, first of all, so he's flipping the burgers, that makes sense, right? You flip it, but he's doing and then like I'm like, what the fuck? Excuse me, this brother had Jerry curl juice and sweat dripping down on burgers. Like, and songs, like we was rolling. But man, I say all that to say, yeah, Jerry Curl's a real thing. You know, just as when Michael got burnt, some of their burgers got diluted with extra juice.
Somebody got that special sauce.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody, hey, boy, back there in the grill, man, good looking on that burger, dog. That shit was slamming. Okay. You didn't know it was a little pink moisturizer in there.
I love this comment from Kim. Juice ring around the neck of a members only.
Members only.
Look here. My members only jacket while I'm listening to Johnny Taylor. Don't play. Don't play, timekeeper.
See how that spirit overtake him for a second? He turned into that.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Got my members only with Johnny Taylor playing in the background.
Before Seeley got saved, well, you know, all that spitting the mouthpiece was on spitting something else.
Sir. Who's making love to your old lady? Why are you out making love? I said, who making love to yo? Somebody been making your old lady. All right, we back.
Okay, Seeley, you got really who did you just sing? Because that's a real song for people who don't. People might not know that's actually a real song.
That's Johnny Taylor. Yeah. That's Johnny. And since we keeping it PG, I ain't gonna say what we used to call him. He was Johnny Taylor.
Yeah.
And in fact, not only was that, it was move it in, move it out,
hilarious.
Move it round, round and round. Disco lady. Oh, don't make me break out the Johnny Taylor. Wait. Jody, ain't no sense in going home. Oh, Jody got your girl and gone. Oh, well, we do Johnny Taylor all day. Matter of fact, we gonna do a Johnny Taylor salon one day.
Hilarious. Yeah.
Break out that Johnny Taylor.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. And we got a disco lady.
I'll be stroking. Oh, no.
And it's a 12-inch disco lady, by the way. So you get that 12-inch, the disco lady.
Oh my God. All right. Okay.
This is back when our moms and them was outside. That was
this
is their time. It was out there.
And look here, playing spades.
It was all grown folks' business.
And if you was like me, you was the drink runner, so you had to go bring somebody their beer, drink somebody their scotch.
Lord.
Oh my God. So it's so funny, Michael, that you say, you know, that's when our parents were outside, because I watched this. I interviewed my grandparents back in '98 and I was only 28 years old. And I asked my grandmother to describe, you know, all of her kids. And obviously my mom is one of them. And she made a point to stress that my mom was an inside kid. She didn't like to go outside. And to this very day, my mom is an inside kind of person. So it's so funny that was sort of the lingo back then, because all the other kids were outside kids. Like, she literally stressed that. So I just thought that was really funny. All right. So this is an independent endeavor. The estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. Just want to make everyone should know this, but you just have to do that due diligence. So what we just listened to was Apollonia 6's A Million Miles, I Love You. And there is a version floating in the ether where Prince is singing the lyrics. And so if you want to hear an alternate version, I started to play it, but I didn't. But the one that's on the album was composed by Prince and Lisa Coleman. It's one of my favorite songs that Prince has ever done. And Brenda Bennett is on lead vocals. Apollonia and Susan are on the backing vocals. Sheila E. is on the drums and percussion, as Chris Bournet already pointed out to us. We got Lisa on the keyboards, Wendy on the guitar. So it's like a family affair for this Million Miles, and it's an incredible song. So we are week 40 of What Did Prince Do This Week, episode 91. And this week we had one new song and one studio visit. And it's not really a song, but I counted it as a song because Prince Vault has it listed as a track. So Prince Vault has it as a track. I was like, okay, I guess we'll count this as a song. So this is basically what happened this week in 1984. So on October 1st, the Apollonia 6 was the last album to be released from the 4 that came out in 1984. And we had obviously Sheila E.'s The Glamorous Life, had the Times Ice Cream Castles, Prince's Purple Rain, and Apollonia 6. And then on Tuesday, there was a mix of the Dance Electric, one of my favorite Prince songs of all time, The Top of the Tops. And this is the new track, which isn't really a track, but we'll say it's a track, I'm So Confused. And then there were 2 rehearsals at the Met Center in Minneapolis because Prince is getting ready to tour for Purple Rain. And according to Dwayne, but we know we just might not have all the info, that nothing happened on the 6th. All right, that might be like the other book that we talked about last year a lot. Okay, so we have on Monday, again, Apollonia 6. Just want to keep saying Apollonia 6 because this is a really good album. I hope that one day it gets at least released on streaming services. It would be nice. I'm not going to say what I want, but let's look at some photos. Now, this is a photographer, and I'm going to mispronounce their name, so I'm not even going to attempt it, but you can actually buy a lot of the photos I'm about to show you. I've bought several from them, and you can do so from this Facebook link that I have, the Ramon Music Exhibition. So if you want some of these, I highly recommend that you support this photographer who actually has photos in the newly released Prince Icon book that we're going to talk about, because I haven't got my copy yet, even though I pre-ordered it. So I'm a little salty. Everybody else got their copy. I don't have my copy, even though I pre-ordered. So I'm waiting for it. So I'm going to show you a lot of photos by this amazing photographer. And again, a lot of these you can actually purchase, and then even if they're not up for sale, you can ask to see if they can be printed for you. So I just love, one thing I want you to notice in all these photos, almost always Susan has her teddy bear, which I think is so crazy.
Yeah, cool.
Yes. So we got the teddy bear on the lake or wherever they are right now. I really love this shot. You can purchase this one. It's an amazing shot. And you can see here, and it, you get like the certificate of authenticity. I'm not getting paid to do this. I just think he's an amazing photographer. And if you love photography like I do, I actually have an MFA in photography, and you want like a real photograph, I think these would be a really great way to start your collection because they're reasonable. I love candid shots like this. I don't know if you can make it out, but it's like Apollonia walking on the set in order to take the photos. This is a really awesome photo. I love sort of behind the scenes stuff. This is another one. I included this shot I love where the teddy bear is posing in this particular shot. And Susan looks amazing. Susan always looks like, Susan to me had the best poses. Like she knew how to strike a pose. And again, these are some of the others that are available for sale. I actually got this one because I love that one. The color is popping. This is another one. And this is another from the same photographer. Again, Teddy's on the bed. And I love the symmetry of the shot with the girls not being a little asymmetric. I'm going to stop. Love this photograph because it just goes with the Apollonia 6 colors with the magenta and all that. And then this is one of my favorite photographs of Susan. Again, look at that pose.
It's like something from like the Dynasty.
Yeah, I'm going to say Dynasty and Falcon Crest.
Yeah. Falcon Crest. In fact, I want to say, wasn't Apollonia on an episode of Falcon Crest?
Yeah, she was on Falcon Crest.
Yes, she was on. Yeah. And this is another incredible photo. I really love just all of the poses here. I love how Brenda has her back turned, but looking over the shoulders. And also you can see the detail in her dress. The dress that Apollonia has on is amazing. The dress that Susan has on is just extraordinary. Got the pink nails, and like Susan's giving us the look. Love this photo. And we're going to
go back to that for a second.
Sure,
yeah. That look right there and the one before it, I wish that would have been the look. Like if they would have been on the album cover like that, like it's almost like it almost looked like there would be at the time with the time or something, like they're like Ice Cream Castles is just right on the other side or something.
Right.
But it just kind of has the same thematic, and they look like they bosses at this point. Like they're not, you know what I mean? Like just look like they became the madams instead of
right.
You know what I mean? But that's dope. I love that look.
And I don't know if you guys remember, but at the symposium, Tammy Sharp had not that color, but a similar jacket. So like she, you know,
Yes, we
Tammy was,
remember.
yes, Tammy was bringing it. I should have included that in. I'll add it later, and I'll try, if someone talks, maybe I'll try to pull it up later, but I don't know if I can, just because I'm a little disorganized with my files. So here's some candid photography that I absolutely love. And that's like, so a lot of the photography we just looked at were, you know, studio shots or shots with, you know, like with real lights, but this is like natural light. So I like naturally lit sort of documentary style photos. That's my favorite. And here they are at the airport along with the teddy bear, getting so much love from Susan. And I love how the yellow is just popping. And then I really adore this photo again. Teddy bear is sleeping.
That's what I call keeping the bit going right there. She wasn't in that bit down. With the bit is always on.
The bit is always on. That's right. And another thing that really stood out since we did the triple threat symposium is, I don't know if you noticed, like in these candid shots, so just look at them, you'll notice that Susan's hair is straight. And what's crazy is I always thought that Susan's hair was curly, but Jill let us know that no, Susan literally had to put those pink curlers in her hair in order to get those curls. And if you've ever slept in some pink rollers, do you know how long her hair is and how many pink rollers she would need? How did she sleep? Did she sleep, you know, sit up in a chair? I don't know. But now I'm like, oh my God, there's no curls, and I understand. So you can see straight hair. And this is one of my favorite shots from all of these photographs. And again, Susan is striking a pose, almost giving me like vibes from Jill Jones' cover. You know, like, you know, if you know the Jill Jones cover, how Jill has her legs, you know, kind of like wide apart like that, and then again,
Teddy bear.
Yes.
She riding that teddy bear like my man Dr. Fink. He gonna have that.
That's right. There you go.
Man, what year did nigga? That's my look. Rock that.
And I love this candid shot of just, you know, the wind blowing through their hair. And I just love the shot of Brenda and Apollonia. And then this is other. Oh yeah, extraordinary. I think they all are. And
yeah.
But I love this shot of Susan just because, again, she's very gestural and all of that. But you can see apples at the head of the table, and it looks like they're eating oysters, if I'm looking at that correctly. And Andre actually agrees with you, Michael. Love them fully clothed and looking natural. You know, it's Stephen. I love Jill Jones' cover. I loved it because it was so like, it had like a DIY, almost punk feel to it. So it kind of reminded me a lot of the energy that Prince had during Controversy, which is in my favorite era. So I was kind of happy to see that aesthetic sort of carry through Jill's. That's me personally, but obviously we can disagree. Yes, that's funny. Apples looks like she's coming from Lake Minnetonka.
I just stopped.
Okay. And let's see.
Who said that?
What's that, Michael?
Who said? Oh,
that was, you know what? That was a not really a trivia, but on Breakfast Club, the comedian Dion Cole was on Breakfast Club. And I guess they got some young sister who's doing the news, and he was talking about how young people don't know history. And so he said Lake Minnetonka, and the young sister didn't know the reference. And he was like, see, told you, y'all don't know. And Charlamagne said that's a Prince reference, right? So it was just funny that, you know, he was talking about how, you know, generations, because of, just they have their own technology and whatnot, they don't know. But my argument, not to belabor this, but my argument is that one of the reasons why young people are so disconnected, because what we forget in our age, most of us were raised in a house where there was one television and one radio. So you watched the television that your parents and grandparents watched. You listen to the radio. So the example for me is Flip Wilson is not technically my generation, but I grew up on Flip Wilson. So Flip Wilson feels like my generation because I watched Flip Wilson with my parents and grandparents. But now I look at my grandson, and my grandson is 13. My grandson doesn't watch television. All he watches is his phone. So like I literally have to sometimes come in and just make him watch television with me because I want to share with him some of my art. And so I think that's the other thing. So just connecting that whole Lake Minnetonka and the fact that, shout out to Deion Cole using the Lake Minnetonka as a reference to show that young people wouldn't get it. But I do think that that's the negative about iPhones and all of that is children now don't commune with their parents and grandparents around art. And because they are so separate with their phones, whether we know it or not, our parents were passing along their art to us simply by making us watch TV with them. That's it. I'll shut up.
All right. So we got one day I'll know how to learn to use StreamYard. Okay. Some more sort of behind the candid shots. And again, I personally love like these kinds of photos. Some of you guys might, well, why are you showing us these? But I just love them. You can see them putting on their makeup. And we'll end with this one because I love how Apollonia is looking directly into the camera at us. And a really awesome photo, in my personal opinion. All right, so let's get into it. So there is one news article I want to read this week, only one. So you hopefully won't get too bored. This is from the Baltimore Sun, Tuesday, October 2nd, 1984. 4 more concerts sell out within hours at Capitol Center. Prince, one of the biggest names in pop music today, smashed his own records yesterday by selling out 4 additional concerts in record time at the Capitol Center. Tickets for the singer's first 2 scheduled concerts had sold out in 4 hours last Monday before promoters scheduled a 3rd concert, which sold out in 3 hours. Those concerts will be staged at the Suburban Washington Arena at 8 p.m., November 18th through 20th. However, that performance was just a warm-up for yesterday's turnout of fans who heard on our area radio stations about new Prince concerts scheduled for November 26th and 28th. Security officer John Basanko reported that fans started gathering early Sunday evening. Mr. Basanko said virtually all seats for the 4th and 5th concerts were sold between 10 a.m. and 11:45 a.m. before a 6th concert was scheduled for November 29th. Those tickets were sold out by 1:30 p.m. with a humongous number of people still waiting in line. A 7th concert was announced for November 30th. Those tickets were sold out by 3:15 p.m. yesterday. Tickets also were sold at other outlets, 8 of which are in Baltimore, and by telephone reservations, which the center was trying for the first time on an experimental basis. Tickets were priced at $12.50, $15.50, and $17.50. So there's a lot of information in this one article, particularly for, oh, wow, Signet says that they were there at the Landover, Maryland Capitol Center. That is incredible, for sure.
Dude, I'm trying to figure out what's that movie about, erotic radio? Pig guys?
Yeah, it says Little X. And they're triple X movies. So
but it kind of fits with, I think a controversy, Dirty Mind period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's really crazy, I hope I'm getting this right, like the phone number doesn't have an area code.
Oh,
right.
And the reason that's important, a lot of people may not get this, why that's important. Being from the South and being from a small town, Brother Dean, I grew up only having to know 5 numbers to call somebody.
Yep, me too.
So those last 4 numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the last number of those first 3.
Yep.
Interesting.
So the town was so small, you only needed 5 numbers to call somebody. So to see this ad and not need an area code, and to see how cell phones and in fact, Mississippi did not get a second area code, I want to say, until either late 90s, early 2000s. Because cell phones kind of exploded, and then you saw states getting extra. But Mississippi only had one area code. I want to say late 90s, early 2000s. So yeah, so just seeing that ad with 7 numbers, right, takes me back to how simple things used to be.
Yeah.
That's right, Sister Kim.
Yes, Lord. I know that's right. I remember them days.
Just give me them 5, baby. I just need them 5.
That's right.
Don't need my numbers now.
So I thought it was important to read this article just for historical purposes, and also because we have some younger watchers. And one of the things that I found fascinating was that they started taking telephone reservations. So 84-ish is when they started taking telephone reservations for the first time, because they said that this was an experimental trial in this article, which I was like, okay. That took a while for them to figure that out. But another thing that I love about this is how it documents how people stood in line the night.
Uh-oh. Did we lose her?
Yeah, I think she froze.
Oh, there I go. Am I back now?
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay. And so I could still hear you guys. I don't know what's going on. And then they didn't use these, whoever stood in line overnight, and they didn't go on sale until 10 a.m. So that's a long time to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So Nick, was your dad the first scalper? Was he out there scalping?
That was out there hustling, huh?
Oh my God, that's crazy. All right, so let's keep it moving. And let's see, Celia, do you mind reading about the Dance Electric on page 423?
Sure. Let me get here.
There's a whole chapter on Apollonia 6, but I mean the first part, but I thought we'd look at the pictures instead of read about it, because we've talked about it a lot already. But before you get started though, one thing that Dwayne wrote is that the status is Apollonia 6 peaked at number 62 on the Billboard 200 chart, which actually isn't bad. I mean, considering. So it did chart. And it actually charted in, almost the top 50, but it was like 62, and it was their only album. Okay.
Did it go gold, if you remember?
I don't think it did.
Okay.
Maybe someone can do some Googling. Kim, I know you're really good. Or Tandra, can you guys Google and see at the RAA.org site if it went gold or not? Okay, Celie, take it away.
All right, brother $2. Thank you. We love you. We love you. But just, this old age is catching up with me, brother. All right. So the Dance Electric Mix, Sunset Sound, Studio 3, assume producer Wendy Melvin, assume artist Prince, engineer Peggy Mac Leonard. This is a quote from David Z. He totally cared. He cared so much that, let me get my thing. I'm sorry. That he second guessed himself all the time. We did 2 songs a day for a long, long time. A lot of times I said, Prince, that's a hit. And he goes, well, that's what they expect from me. I'm not going to give it to them. But it's a great song. And he'd say, I'm going to do something else. David Z. Right? Prince asked Peggy Leonard to mix the Dance Electric, but the results weren't what he'd hoped. Quote, Prince just handed it to me and told me to mix it. This is Peggy talking. Good Lord. Okay. I used every track he recorded, but Prince didn't like what I'd done with it. Wendy and I did a mix together, but we had a hard time agreeing about what we liked. Although many in Prince camp enjoyed the track, Peggy Leonard felt the song was kind of boring and that it was obvious that his heart wasn't in it. Susan Rogers agreed and also was unimpressed by the song. This is Susan saying, quote, the Dance Electric was kind of a funk jam that he could turn around in his sleep. As good as other people might think it is, that's why the Black Album came about. Those kinds of funk jams were the sort of things that he did so easily and well. He did it for fun, and he did it because he enjoyed it. The band enjoyed playing it, end quote. It is unlikely that Prince attended this session, and it is unclear whether any of the mixes of the Dance Electric were ever released.
All right. So the Dance Electric is one of my top of the top Prince songs of all time. So I disagree with that being boring. I disagree with a lot. And one of the things I have in the slide deck are the lyrics. And everyone should know that I'm not into lyrics, but in real time, when this song came out and it started off with, good morning, people, take a look out your window, the world is falling, I actually paid attention. This is one of the few songs that I actually listened to the lyrics because I knew there was some truth to it. The world is falling, the world is still falling. And it is such an important song. It is just as relevant today as it was back in 1984. And while, yes, funk, it's kind of like, I'm sure, Sheila, you can speak to this, like how some people sort of dismiss blues songs as sounding the same. And some people could say funk songs sound the same. I totally disagree. I really think that the Dance Electric in particular was not just a standard funk ditty. It was really an extraordinary song. And, in reading this, it's interesting to read that Peggy Leonard said that obvious that his heart wasn't in it. That to me doesn't really translate if you read the lyrics. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if the lyrics were about like marshmallows or something, maybe his heart wasn't in it then, and
But also what contradicts that is he played that song on the Hit and Run tour in '86. He also played it again on Jenny Kimball Live years later. So the Dance Electric, regardless of what they're saying, was clearly a song that meant a lot to Prince because and he played it when he played it on the Hit and Run in '86. They played extended jam versions of it. So it wasn't like a 30-second snippet or a 1 minute snippet. I don't think I have anything where that song is less than 3 or 4 minutes when they're playing it. And like you said, and there's so much poured into the lyrics on that. So yeah, I'm with you. I couldn't disagree more with them saying that one is boring and that he didn't mean it. And then also I'll just add to this for anybody, and I think that referencing Dance Electric, Nelson George is putting up the journalist Nelson George is putting up clips from a documentary that he did some years ago. And he just put up the Nile Rodgers clips. Nile Rodgers gives an extension definition of funk. And what he does in giving an extension definition of funk, he says clearly that funk music, true funk music, can only be made with bands. And that you cannot understand what funk is if you don't understand the self-contained black band. And I think a lot of times when people would make those statements about those kind of throwaway songs, addressing the throwaway songs, the funk songs as throwaway jams, are people who really don't understand that history of black bands and the development of black bands from blues and jazz ensembles. That's not me taking a dig at, we love Susan Rogers, we love Peggy Leonard, but I'm saying that sometimes just one's own background will cause them to have a myopic or short-sighted understanding of something, which the example you gave about people giving, it's like the same with blues and go-go. Like somebody who doesn't know about go-go, well, all go-go songs sound the same. Well, that's because you don't know what go-go is. So, and Brother Brene, let me, because Nile Rodgers does reference Prince. And I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to actually say I want somebody to write a paper on this. Prince fluctuated between being a consummate solo artist and being a consummate band member. Prince never wrote songs for one person. Prince was always writing songs for bands. And so while we have this notion of Prince as the one-man genius, the one-man band, Prince always conceived of music played by bands. That's why he saw himself as the 8th member of the time. I mean, he probably saw himself as the 1st member of the time, and the rest of those people, like, if we want to be real about it. Prince was always writing music for bands. And so that tracks with what Nile Rodgers is saying. Prince was writing music as an ensemble. That's the word. I'm glad because Brother Bonet made me think about that. Funk music is ensemble music, just like jazz music is ensemble music. Prince was writing ensemble music. The bass player had a particular thing to do. The guitar player had a particular thing to do. The two different keyboard players had two different things to do. Like the keyboard players weren't playing the same lines in Prince's music. So Prince was writing ensemble music. Therefore, funk music is ensemble music. Prince was writing for multiple musicians to do multiple things, if that makes sense. I'll shut up.
Can I just add too? I agree with everything you guys said. With salute to Susan Rogers, salute to Peggy. But I just think you have people that's not their background. Funk music, R&B, soul. So I would question why you even ask like somebody that's not what they don't live in that space. So yeah, they may just see it just, oh, that's just some throwaway funk jam. Nah, ain't no that's our music. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we live on. That's only so to me what they said about that, and I think the conversation about they couldn't come to grips with the mix of the song says a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where Prince didn't like your mix, and then you and even Wendy don't agree on what it's supposed to sound like. So to me, nothing against her skills as an engineer and technical and all that, but in terms of that funk music, that black soul music, that's just probably not really her lane. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, she might not understand. She obviously doesn't understand that, like D'Angelo said, when you hear that song, that's like on the same level of 1999 or Controversy. Like that's a call to arms. Like, this is that Prince that's, he's in formation, Prince, Controversy. Let's turn up Prince. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the new orders. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that song is like one of his. It should have came out as a Prince song. Like, I always said that would have been the first single. That would have been this is the message we on. We on the Dance Electric era. And they get like, wake up. So to me, for her to say that, yeah, that just goes to show me the same way when Susan was like, oh yeah, what was it Adonis and Bathsheba? That's trash. Stop it. Like, just say you don't really know that music.
Right.
That's all. We love you, but and that's one thing that period of Prince, I just wish there was maybe some more people that was in the control booth who actually like listen to funk like that. So they would be like, yo, kid, that's the one. Maybe, yeah, I know that's good, but I'm gonna just, nah, nigga, you don't understand. Let's go take this to the club and play it and see what happened. Like, this is that juice. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he just, a lot of times he be sitting on dope songs. And I don't know if he's listening to other people, seeing their reaction. Oh, that's good, Prince. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that was my little take too.
Appreciate it. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows, especially if you're new to Prince's music, that the Dance Electric is not a song that you should sleep on. I still get goosebumps 40 years later.
Say it again.
I want to put myself on solo. I still get goosebumps 40 years later listening to the Dance Electric. That's how amazing that song is and what it means to me.
All I gotta hear is good morning, children. Take a look outside the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
You know the funk is about to happen when you hear that.
Yep. All right. Okay. So, Michael Dean, if you don't mind reading our next selection, which is I'm So Confused on page 424, Wednesday.
You gonna make Michael Dean do the whole I'm confused speech? You gonna make him do the whole I'm confused speech? But then you gonna do the whole I'm confused speech? All right, I'm done.
Oh, I had to think about what that was for a quick second. All right. I'm so confused. All right. I'm so confused. Tracking and overdubs. Flying Cloud Drive Warehouse, Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Producer Prince, artist Prince, engineer Susan Rogers. Quote from Lisa Coleman. He was writing songs that were not confused, but searching. He wasn't limiting himself by his religion. He was allowing it to fuel his work. That's interesting. On the eve of the dress rehearsal scheduled for the Met Center in Minneapolis, Prince recorded I'm So Confused as a segue, I'm saying it right,
Yeah, that's
between,
it.
between Darling Nikki and the Beautiful Ones. It contained the sound effect of a dove as well as multiple background elements, including wind chimes, bells, and the chorus, and several lines from the recently recorded but still unreleased The Dance Electric. Additionally, elements were used during the track, additional elements were used during the track, but were later taken out of the mix, including Prince introducing his dove named Divinity and asking who painted her purple. Wow. Prince's music contained a great deal of religious ambiguity even before this period, according to Des Dickerson. We never specifically discussed this. I feel that at some unconscious level, he was not comfortable. He knew some things were wrong, that he was influencing young kids, toying with some potentially dangerous stuff. In order to justify this, he created this sort of new religion where it's okay and God smiles on you. You're pioneering something. His theology accomplished that, and he got a whole belief system to back it up. He didn't really discuss lyrical content with the band, Lisa Coleman explained to Alan Light, only if he wanted/needed help with something. But those songs were not usually but those songs would not usually be the message songs. In general conversation, I think we talked about the stuff just as most people did. It was a pop topic for sure, and all the cool bands had mystery and hidden messages written all over them. Status. I'm so confused. A minute and 59 seconds was edited to a minute and six, blended with elements from Darling Nikki. It was placed between Darling Nikki and the Beautiful Ones during the Purple Rain rehearsals and tour, although it was included in the Prince and Revolution live video. The track has never been officially released. I would say that's interesting. They didn't put that on the deluxe box set, did they?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's on the. I mean, obviously, it's in the DVD, but other than that, it's not like a standalone track or anything.
Mm.
So, I mean, I guess that's my question to you because I like when I was figuring out should I do we consider this a song? I went ahead and listed it as a song, but I was really hesitant. So, Celie, what say you?
Well, I think that since technically you can get a Grammy for a spoken word,
Mm.
since you can technically get a Grammy for a spoken word, and also you can get certain Grammys, production Grammys for segues. So I don't have a problem with it being listed as a song, particularly because it does have beginning, a middle, and an ending. Right? It is a self conversation. It has a theme. It has a purpose. It drives the narrative. So all those things that you would say would make it a song, if nothing else, it could be either a poem or a spoken word piece. So I think that in those kind of things, and it was very vital to the theme of the show, right? It was, and I'll tell you this about it. What I did was when I converted the VHS to DVD, I went through a period where I actually cut a lot of the spoken pieces out, right? So like the Yankee Doodle Dandy piece, I cut that out. I don't sit through no damn Yankee Doodle Dandy. So I just like that part of the show I was over with very quickly. I was like, man, I get it, but I could cut the Yankee Doodle Dandy piece and not cut the theme. I couldn't cut the I'm So Confused because you would be cutting the narrative theme of the show. So I had to leave that in there. I even thought about the piece that he does right before Do Me Baby. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Can you feel me? Big if you will. And I'm like, yeah. Get on with the damn song, right? But it is actually part. So you can't technically cut the I'm so confused because you lose the ultimate message of the redemption piece, right? The temptation piece doesn't make sense, right? Earlier. So yeah, so I count it as a song simply because it's really part of the theme of the show, and it lets you get to understand everything that Prince is trying to tell us. That's it. I'll say.
All right. So the Thriller Effect is asking, are these demos Seeley talking about? And the answer is no. We're talking about the Prince and the Revolution live from Syracuse show. And that's what we're talking about. And we got a Rodney. Rodney is saying, stop the Yankee Doodle Dandy shaming.
Yeah.
All right, so and it wasn't just the Yankee Doodle Dandy shaming. I didn't understand what Brown Mark and Wendy laying under that cover had to do with the thing. Like, I was like, what the hell? Because the Yankee Doodle Dandy's playing, and they walk up on the thing, and they lay down, and Brown Mark I think that's Wendy, he put the cover over Wendy, and then the little red lights, the rainbow lights start pulsating.
Yes.
I was like, what the hell? That didn't have. And so, because of that whole sequence, I hated the hell out of Yankee Doodle Dandy for years. So, there you go.
All right.
Just thinking back of these things that we're talking about, and what Dez was saying about sort of he's trying to create like a religion or a theology to sort of explain the imagery and themes that he's talking about on these records. But I never really thought about like, if we have the space, what do we think the message he's trying to portray with the Purple Rain show? Like, coming straight off of the movie, and it seems as if the show dives into things that the movie doesn't necessarily address, the spirituality aspect of it. Like, do we think he was sort of, is it what Daz is saying? Is this why this is being introduced? And is he trying to, what sort of message do we think he's sort of trying to put out with this tour where he becomes the man, like he becomes the superstar dude? But is he trying to say that I'm wrestling with my spirituality at this point too? I don't know. I'm just asking them.
So I'm going to answer this question, try to take some things into context. And I'm not, and when I say this, I don't want, this is not a shot at Dez. I want to be clear, not a shot at Dez, because I love Dez. When I was reading that and hearing y'all read that, I'm wondering how much of that is Dez projecting his own thing on the Prince. Because remember, Dez left because of his own religious issues, right? Dez said that he had a problem playing head with children in the audience. So the question then becomes, is this Prince thinking, or is this Dez saying, since I'm feeling this, Prince got to be feeling this? Because Dez does say, Dez is transparent to say, now me and Prince didn't actually ever talk about this. So I just want to throw that out there of how much of this is Dez projecting on the Prince, because Dez himself, admittedly, and I don't have a problem with Dez having issues with that. I'm one of those people who's from one of those very Baptist, conservative Christian backgrounds who wrestled with those types of issues. I'm one of those people who, I told y'all when I was working with Prince, my mom would call every Sunday and leave a message on the answer machine and say, baby, mama love you, but Prince and everybody would love Prince music. Going to hell, call mama when you get a chance. Like, that's the message my mom would leave me every Sunday. So now, coming to your direct question, I always tell people, if you were offended or surprised by the Rainbow Children, that's because your ass wasn't paying attention. Anti-Christian. Prince had always been working in a Judeo-Christian framework. Whether you like it, whether you love it, Prince was always working in a Judeo-Christian framework where for him, God was love and God was going to save us from whatever the things that God needed to save us. And that for a lot of people, for Prince, those things from which we needed saving simply changed from album to album. And I think that became the problem for a lot of people, is that Prince may not have always been consistent about, well, what are the things from which we need to be saved? We do know that was the consistent thing for Prince was hatred and violence. If you look at everything Prince ever said, hatred and violence toward people and hatred, those were the things that represented the devil for Prince. So when you look at anti-Christian, the devil had all to do with hurting people. And that if you are involved in fighting and hurting people, you are doing the work of the devil. And if you want to stop violence, if you want to stop war, you're doing the work of God. And so I think that Prince was always trying to create this system in which his music worked to preach whatever particular gospel. And for Prince, it was the gospel of love. And as Prince began to expand what that gospel of love meant, it began to rub certain people the wrong way, because the things that were cool, say, in doing controversy, became uncool by the time you get to the Rainbow Children. But that's because you weren't paying attention. So I think that Prince was very conscious, and I'll end on this. Prince was conscious on Sam Cooke, Little Richard, Al Green. Prince was conscious on the fact that the secular and the sacred, the profane and the divine were always an issue in Black music, were always a tension, both sonically and lyrically. Prince not only played with that, used that to drive his theme of love and light. And again, that's one of those things where I think if you're not familiar with the Black church, if you're not familiar with Sam Cooke and Little Richard and Al Green, if you're not familiar with that struggle, you're either put off by it or you think it's just for the sake of show and don't know that Prince is actually trying to make a real discussion, have a real commentary, because you're not used to it being a part of your everyday life and purview the way folk like me, who was from the Black church, used to people having those conversations and took Prince seriously no matter how camp it was. Prince ultimately was trying to say God is a God of love and he will save us if he let us, though he would just shift from time to time one of those things from which we can be saved. I'll shut up.
All right. So I want, Michael, it sounds like, did you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Because I'm going to shift back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I want to go back to, I'm so confused because that's what we're talking. The Purple Rain tour. The Purple Rain tour is one of my least favorite Prince tours. But the Purple Rain rehearsals are fire. The Purple Rain tour rehearsals is what I listen to. I don't like listening to the tour. I actually don't even like watching the tour because one is really dark. I mean, just like there are hardly any lights on. And whenever I pull out the Syracuse show to watch, I'm queuing it up to Irresistible Beat and Possessed, and then I'm out. Like, or I might repeat that over and over and over and over and over again. That's the only thing I want to see from the Purple Rain tour. But I can listen to one Purple Rain rehearsal on repeat for a month. And I just think that the energy, I think the one thing I think that's frustrating about the Purple Rain tour for me is because of the mega stardom that Prince was having around this time. I don't know if someone told him this or if he thought this was the way to go, but there wasn't a lot of differences between those shows, you know, from city to city. And one of the problems that I had when I watched it, and I did go see it in, I did go see it in person at the Omni, but to be honest, I honestly don't remember Prince's part because I was so young. You know, I was like 13 years old. I remember Sheila's because of the drumsticks and stuff, but I do not remember the Prince portion of the show. And I think for me, I had a hard time with, I call them the interludes, because one, they were, I think, too long. Because I think about this in contrast to like the Sign of the Times live, and they have interludes, but it was like integrated into the music more so. And they also were quicker. And they were more like segues, so they don't bother me. I don't skip any of those. But when it comes to like the Purple, like if I were to do what you did, Celie, I probably would have did the same thing. However, I would not have cut I'm So Confused.
Right.
Because I don't know. It's something about that
Right.
that isn't like the other interludes.
No, I agree. That's part. I couldn't cut that one because it's part of the narrative, right? You lose the actual narrative. And with you, I just think that with the Purple Rain, you know, when we talk about Purple Rain as a project, album, film, tour. And I think that Prince understood that he was embarking on a triple, not to use the term triple threat, but that the album, the movie, and the tour was going to serve a purpose of getting Prince somewhere he needed to be, even if he was over it by the time the project was over, right? Prince was clearly over it halfway through the Purple Rain tour, but you got to do this show. It's part of the 3-part project. The tour is part of the 3-part. And what did Prince say? Prince said people were showing up at the Purple Rain tour clapping because that's where they clapped in the movie. He really understood that he had built this machine, and I got to play this machine all the way out, because on the other side of, and in saying this, I'm not saying that Prince doesn't love this music. And Prince wasn't saying that he doesn't love this music. What we're saying is that it was serving a multiple purpose. And because it was serving a multiple purpose, it was more structured than any other tour. Like, this tour was meant to be the parallel complement to the movie. It was meant to drive themes, but also not only to drive themes, to also to enhance and introduce some themes that's going to then be completed in Around the World in a Day. Temptation is introduced in the Purple Rain, right? So so by the time you get to the Around the World in a Day album, Prince, the novelist, Prince, the short story writer, Prince, the poet, has already given you this beginning. Think about Sign of the Times movie. When Cat and Prince are on the heart, and the heart lays down, does anybody remember the 2 words that's flashing over them?
Love and sex.
There we go. Love, sex, love, sex, love, sex. What's the next album? Love Sexy. So Prince was a master of constructing these themes and constructing these stories. And I would say that at that point in time, the Purple Rain tour was, in his mind, his masterpiece of creating the rock opera that he needed people to see. And I end on this because what was he doing? As I said before, Purple Rain breaks the theme of beginning the current tour with the song that ended the last tour. It's all an ongoing narrative, right? The Dirty Mind tour ends with Uptown. The Controversy tour opens with Uptown. The Controversy tour ends with Controversy. The 1999 tour opens with Controversy. There is a theme of storytelling that Prince is running through that is addressing his social, political, and spiritual evolution. And so sometimes we'll enjoy it, sometimes it'll hit, sometimes it'll miss, but I always gave him credit. And so I'm with you. I think that sometimes the Purple Rain tour could be over the top, particularly with the segues. But I think that for him, it was helping him project the narrative that he thought would get him to the next place, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. And I'm so happy that you're on this particular episode, because I just had 2 insights that I have never had in my life. And I am so embarrassed to admit this. I've seen That Heart. I watched Sign of the Times live a gazillion times in my lifetime. I know the words are love and sex, but duh. I never realized it was foreshadowing Love Sexy.
Love Sexy.
Duh. Okay. That's one thing. So thank you, Celie. All right. The second insight, and this goes back to the question that Michael asked, and we really didn't answer it, but now I think I can answer it based on what you just said. So I think that was a good question that Michael brought up in terms of the narrative of the movie and the narrative of the tour weren't the same. They were actually quite different. But now that, and I'm conjuring up Arthur Turnbull, we now know that Prince was working in 2 timelines, and we definitely know through what did Prince do this week that he's almost finished with because we're going to do Condition on the Heart next week. You know, he's almost done with the Around the World in a Day album before he goes on tour. So he's totally in Around the World in a Day mood with the Purple Rain tour, songs like Temptation. And that's the reason why maybe it's darker, because, you know, some of those, like just in terms of tone, because of the, Celie, you are just like blowing my mind today. So many epiphanies are happening right now.
Can I add? I'm gonna add the simplistic look of this opinion. R&B funk artist, somewhat underground, niche. You know, he would be sort of, you know, he represents the newer wave of black pop R&B that's about to, you know, he represents the next wave. There's always a wave, you know what I'm saying? You know, the waves after him are the Jimmy Jam waves, the Teddy Riley waves, you know, these, but he is the wave at this, he's about to be he's the wave to us in black music. They've started to adopt his style. He is also has adopted what was popping before him and flipped it, right? He took the Parliament Funkadelic and he's taken the cameo stuff in the Zap. You know, he's sort of neck and neck with them, but he's adding a different layer to that type of funk that, you know, they're older than him. Actually, he's the young upstart, right? He starts to become popular. Unbeknownst to even him, he becomes a superstar, right? They had no idea Purple Rain was going to do what it did, right? They had no idea. He blows the hell up. I think he goes into this tour coming off of the idea of, well, okay, 1999 was supposed to be my big thing. Like that was the thing that took me. So I've established like I'm one of the premier black acts out here. Super concert, you know, I'm doing arenas, or, you know, I'm starting to do arenas, and then this thing blows up. Looking at it from now after so many years, and if I was a young person looking, I'd be like, wow, it's interesting how these people seem to be framing Purple Rain, but all I know is that this is the thing that made him what he is. Like if I know nothing else about Prince, I know Purple Rain, right? Like that tour was phenomenal. You know, the concert was phenomenal when it came out. Like that was the it show of that summer or that time. You know, Michael Jackson was away. Prince ran free. He had free reign and he killed that. I think it's interesting to look at it. Like he became the success he wanted to be, but the lore is that as if he wants to reject it.
Right.
You know, he's like the lore is like, oh, he got tired of that.
Right.
Isn't that what he spent the whole first part of your career trying to get to? You know, so it's interesting to look. Like he always talked about hits. Like they wanted to be the big thing. He became the big thing.
Right.
Everyone loved him. And I look at Around the World in the Day. So when I look at that concert, I think that concert at the time was fantastic. Like when that home video came out, I was watching it every day, over and over. Yeah. Like I'd never seen nothing like that. That was crazy to me. It only in my mind as a fan sort of goes down a little bit because the next show was even crazy.
Right.
Like he just kept upping it up. Right. So, you know, as much as this is a scripted show and it's the same thing, well, I would argue there's no more scripted than the Love Sexy show, which you can't break that script because you got all this pyrotechnics. So it becomes more scripted, but we love that.
Right.
So I just think that when you look back at it, you know, historically, you'll be like, yo, fantastic concert, like incredible. He's performing and sort of realizing like, yo, I'm the man. Like he's not a superstar at the beginning of that tour, but he slowly becomes and realizes, yo, they love me out here. Like I can just go out here and go, and the place is gonna go, you know, which I think he's kind of realized. Yeah, I'm gonna get out here and be, you know, I'm feeling myself. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like this is great. And I think recording Around the World at this time, it's like yeah, I'm a star. I can put anything out.
Mm.
Right.
I don't have to care about
Right.
like where he obviously very much cared with Purple Rain, meticulously making that album into what it was. Where now his mindset must shift, where he's like, "Oh, I'm the man. Like
Right.
I don't have to worry about it selling. Matter of fact, don't even put a single out. I'm the man now. This
Right.
album so has a whole different ideology. About this is a person who doesn't have to give a fuck.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna just put some, yeah, these sounds are, So I just think that it's great to see him sort of go from being an underdog to becoming a superstar, and then how does that affect his decision of what he records next? It quickly realizes I don't have to care. Whatever plans he probably had to do a Roadhouse or something that would have hit immediately. I can just be an artist now. I can put
Right.
anything I want and don't have to do the game. So I say all that to say Purple Rain tour is fantastic, but at the same point, I guess you got to listen to the same way we got to take into context Susan Rogers and Peggy. We got to take into context, our sort of biases and why we feel about some of this stuff, because we saw the progression to become even greater and greater.
Right.
So I just wanted to put that perspective.
Right. Well, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things I struggle with what did Prince do this week and in life in general, to be honest, is I sometimes like to share my own personal experiences and my how certain art moves me, when especially if it's counter to the more popular narrative, or also we don't want I guess it's, so like Michael, you said the Purple Rain tour was amazing in real time. I went, it was an extraordinary experience, but I don't I guess I need to just kind of figure out, and this, I guess, where Scott Woods, talks about we really shouldn't be making taste arguments, meaning like how a certain song affects me personally. But at the same time, I don't want to come off as clinical, because I can, meaning I'm very good at removing myself from conversations, and we could just kind of present what's in the book and make it be more academic, so to speak, especially if we're using Dwayne's book as a text per se. But that's just kind of a thing that I struggle with. And the thing is, it's just I do want to be personable. I want to kind of share something of myself when I'm talking about Prince, because he has affected me so much. And also, and I guess it might be because I'm a designer, and also I grew up, my grandmother always told me, sometimes your best is not good enough. I grew up with the narrative that everything isn't amazing. And as a designer, I critique everything that I do. That was good, that was bad, that could be improved. The next time we do that, so I'm constantly what's, and actually figuring out what's quality, and so that's kind of my bias. That's my perspective. So I don't want to downgrade the Purple Rain tour. That's not what I'm doing at all. I'm just trying to share my personal frame on how the Purple Rain tour affects me now as well as then, and why. So we're going to move on, because
I want to say why that's important, though. I want to say why that's important. That's important because what we're also doing is providing historical and cultural context for people who weren't there. I think that the work that both you and Brother Dean do, right? The reason why it has stayed the test of time, because you guys, no matter who Brother Dean is interviewing, no matter who you're interviewing, no matter what the symposium that you guys are doing, it's never isolated. It's always taken in a cultural context of, this is what was happening in the culture when Controversy was released. This is what was happening in the culture when Prince was released, right? And so I think that by you providing, right, that kind of singular understanding, you had three people on the screen. So it's not like, it's like, so Brother Dean is providing one culture context. You're providing, you did not say, and I want to make this clear. You have never said Prof Dust doesn't like this, so everybody else should not like it. No, you're providing, right? Like it's important that people need to understand that from a cultural standpoint, there were people who thought that Prince was selling out with Purple Rain. Now, that's not a knock against Purple Rain. That's not me saying that Purple Rain was a bad album, but there were people who felt like Purple Rain was soft. It was running away from his Black audience. It was not as raw as his other work. Remember, I told you that was the article where I think it was either Black Beat or Rock and Soul, where the reviewer actually said, all Purple Rain is Prince trying to clean up his debauchery from the past, or words to that effect. So when you say these things, you're not saying, and no one is taking it as D'Angelo feels this way, everybody else should feel this way. What you are providing is a cultural because I think that one of the things we miss about Prince's genius is the cultural context. Mm-hmm. What we miss about it is, as Brother Dean was saying, Purple Rain was not supposed to happen. Purple Rain was not supposed to happen to a Black artist like Prince. But if you don't understand the history and the culture, then you really don't understand how phenomenal Purple Rain was in so many ways, and that you can still critically, objectively critique it so that people have an understanding that, look, when you go to Purple Rain, you need to understand what the hell was happening in 1982, 1983, 1984 to understand why so many people's minds were blown. Why so many Black people were packed up into that damn theater, and it was one of the greatest moments in their culture because projected on the screen was who they were. So I don't ever want you to feel like that we don't understand that you are bringing that cultural context. That's what makes these Saturdays important, is that we're not just looking at the particular facts as they are. We're understand. Look, I'm so glad what you've done is you've made me meet somebody like Brother Dean to know what the hell was happening in Seattle, Washington. I'm from Clarksville, Mississippi. I just found Seattle on the damn map, right? And so to know that a Black man like Brother Dean was experiencing something in the same time, but experiencing it a little bit different, what does that do? That takes away the lie that Blackness is a monolith, that all Black people are the same, and that expands our humanity. So I don't want you feeling like, hey, you shouldn't be. No. The fact that you are bringing that cultural context is what makes this platform and this study what it is. I'll shut up.
Thank you, Sheila. You're the best. All right. So we're going to, our timekeeper.
I think Kim just said the hell with them and left. Kim said, I ain't looking at the clock at all. I'm just going to go home.
Yes. All right. Good morning, children. We are on page 425. Thursday, October 4th, 1984. All right, rehearsal. Venue, Met Center, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. This is Wendy. I remember the first day we went in for full-on production, and that was astonishing to see it. That's when I realized, holy shit, this is massive. We're in a stadium right now in production rehearsals. I know it doesn't sound like much right now, but back then it was like, oh my God. Most of October was spent shaping the Purple Rain tour. Demand for the concerts was unlike anything Prince had ever experienced. Multiple night shows in cities like Washington, D.C. were selling out within 2 hours, and additional performances were selling out even faster. Basic band rehearsals have been going on at the warehouse since the summer, but on October 4th, full stage rehearsals shifted to the Met Center in Minneapolis. Prince took great pride in creating a tight band. As someone who not only loved music but also loved performing, he worked hard so there were no mistakes, and he drilled it into the sound crew, the lighting crew, and into the band with his famous all-day rehearsals. We jammed so much, bassist Brown Mark declared in 2015. We jammed from 10 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. And I remember times that I was eating lunch while I was still playing. I walked to the lunchroom with my bass on a wireless rig, and I'd go in the refrigerator and grab food and come back and still be playing one-handed while eating. That's how intense we were. It was very interesting time period, but I think a lot of his music came from that type of grooving, jamming together. He'd have, and this is Wendy, he'd have us not move for 4 hours, and he'd be practicing dance moves. He became mature and he felt very comfortable in his body. And the band that was behind him was relentlessly in tune to every move he made. And that was the countless hours of not moving and giving him as much confidence and safety in that environment to perfect that thing. When he wasn't front and center, Prince directed the show from the soundboard and had changes for the staging and lighting as well as for the band, including the addition of yesterday's recording of I'm So Confused. It was run like a tight ship, remembers Susanna Melvoin. If you were 5 minutes late, he would say, your pay has been docked. You cannot be late. If he was there before you, this is funny. If he was there before you, you were late.
Mm.
I'm going to skip the quote from Dr. Fink so you have something to read. But in this sentence, Dr. Fink explained that the rehearsals sounded fun, but they sometimes got a little stressful. And then we're going to bump on down to the last paragraph. I remember when Prince used to forget his words on stage. It was the funniest thing because he would start scratching his head and he would pace back and forth, recalled Brown Mark on his podcast in 2016. And then me and Bobby would look at each other and say, he forgot the words. And then sure enough, he'd walk up to the microphone and say, you know the words, sing. All right. So I'm going to, let's see, what's next on the, anybody want to say anything about what we just read?
I just love when I hear about the rehearsal Prince, the tight ship, the discipline, staying on point, on task. I love that side of Prince. I love when you listen to the rehearsals and sometimes you get to hear that Prince come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that ain't it, or let's get that line, or what's that one famous one? It's like, put the motherfucking magazine down and play a part. Like, yeah, like he was barking on them. So I love hearing that kind of Prince because that's the part that they don't really show. That's the part we get to hear because of bootlegs. That's why I love bootlegs, because you get to hear that Prince, like the Prince that's working. Like, what does it go in to make this stuff? That Prince, when he be on the mic, you can see he must be talking to somebody down over there somewhere, and he's just jamming. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you didn't get that, okay, but that. So I love that. I love any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead, Silly.
I'll just say that for a commentary that I was writing for this Friday's newsletter, I revisited 2 interviews by Brother Dean. So I want to thank you, Brother Dean. I revisited the Alan Leeds interview, which is phenomenal. So if you haven't seen the Alan Leeds interview, then I revisited the Levi Caesar interview, another phenomenal interview. But to your point, to hear Alan Leeds talk about how difficult Prince could be on the performance and the level that he had, and that he could almost have them in tears in a way, and just that's the work part, right? That we are here discussing. That, look, man, if sometimes I'm not saying being cruel to people, but you do need a taskmaster to stay on task, because if it's not your task, it's easy for you to get off task. Right? So right. They taskmaster, and Prince understood that, and Prince didn't have a problem cracking the whip. And for those of us, again, who actually played any kind of ball, coaches bring things out of you that you didn't know you had in you. Because after so many whatever, you get tired, you'll quit. And so I'm with you. I don't listen to the rehearsals like a lot of people do. I'm more into just the actual live shows. But what I do like about the rehearsals is when I get instructions in them and Prince is telling them what to play or telling them how to do some things, or you get those little quips like somebody playing themselves to sleep, right? Those kind of things. You are getting that taskmaster. And I think that that's the kind of stuff, because it shows that Prince was really a serious musician who, for nothing else, he wanted two things. He wanted the vision in his head to be articulated correctly, and he wanted his fans to be pleased. And I think that we don't give Prince enough credit for saying, whatever I give to the people, they're going to know I'm giving them my best. I'll shut up. Oh, and also, I want to thank Sister Christina, because I did not know that the Mall of America was built where the Met Center used to be. I've been to the Mall of America. My wife and I went to the Mall of America when it was, we went in like 90, I want to say 95, 94, 95. And that's the first time I ever saw a roller coaster inside. They told me the roller coaster is no longer in the Mall of America. But yeah, so yeah, Mall of America used to have a roller coaster inside. So yeah, thank you, Sister Christina. I did not know it was built where the Met Center was.
I was just going to add too. I think Prince came from a spirit of this all I got.
Yep.
Like this ain't no game. This how we eat here. My whole existence is built on this. There ain't no plan B. So everyone in here gonna be on point, or you can get the up out of here. And I love that, because when I think of his dad, I think of the Joe Jackson. Like, these are the brothers that came from a time where, I gotta provide and we got to eat, and we ain't got no other choice. We gonna make this work, and and it has to be super excellent. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be the top tier. So just that level of excellence, and then the level of there ain't nothing else. This is it. Y'all could leave, but I got to be able to do this no matter what. That's why I love like he's by himself. Like, ain't nobody stopping this show. I'll do this myself. God damn it! Like, and I'll do your part better than you. That's the energy Prince was on, because like, I'm about to come out hard. You can either be a part of this or I'll do it. I don't give it. So I love that. That's to me, that's what he's talking about here. Like, we don't have time for playing. We're not playing.
For sure. All right. So we're going to switch it up just a little bit, because Sheila is still on tour for The Glamorous Life in 1984, but now she is embarking on the European leg of the tour. So on October 4th, she played at in Paris, France. I can't pronounce that. I don't know if Michael or Celie, if you guys know any French, but I don't. October.
Come on, the tone en français. That's all. I took France. Now, hey, brother, then show you what kind of slicks that I was. I learned come on, the tone en français to make it look like I knew something. You know what that means?
No.
It means, how do you say in French? So whenever I would get in class and the teacher would say, McInnes, would you like, teacher, I said, come on, the tone en français, pencil. Look at McInnes. McInnes is the only one studying. McInnes is the only one. Everybody's like, teacher McInnes is playing your ass. That's all. So, but it made it look like I knew the French. See, avoue on crayon, that's French. I understand.
Yes. All right. So Sheila performed in Paris, and then on October 5th in Sweden at the Ritz. So there are two Ritzes, because Sheila also performed at the Ritz in New York, but also the Ritz in Stockholm, Sweden. So just be mindful that there are two Ritzes. And then she performed on October 6th in the Netherlands, and it seems that this actually was aired on TV in real time on October 12th. All right.
What? I didn't think about this. Why did Sheila get this type of opportunity? Like, because I don't think any of the other bands in his camp was playing. To play Paris back then, that's a big deal. You coming from America, you playing overseas, and you're not playing rock music. That's like, wow.
You know what I thought? I thought it was because to get her ready for the Purple Rain tour. Because even though Paris is a major, it's still not seen as like the American public.
Right.
And so it was, I'll send you over there out of the American eyesight, and you can go work out the kinks. You're going to build your name. You're going to get a following. Folk going to know you. But more importantly, you are working out the kinks so that when you open for me on the Purple Rain tour, everything is just perfect. That's why I don't know if that's true. That just made me be me projected. But I always saw it as the warm-up tour to get her ready for Purple Rain. That's it.
Because even Prince, did he do Dirty Mind? Paris?
He did one. Yeah, he did one show in Dirty Mind over at whatever that show was. He did the one dirty. He did it the same like week that he did the New York show. He did a Paris show and a New York show like within the same week.
But then when did he go back to? Was it Parade where he finally?
Yeah, Parade. He didn't go back to a Parade.
That's crazy. But she goes on the first time.
Yeah.
So I have two more cents about this because going back to the 4 albums of 1984, everyone should know the 4 albums of 1984. In case you don't, again, The Glamorous Life, Ice Cream Castles, Apollonia 6, Purple Rain. Sheila's was the last to be finished in 83, but the first to get out of the gate in 84. I personally think, and again, this is me, I don't know this to be true, but just based on the timeline, I think that Prince was extremely excited about Sheila's album and Sheila as a solo musician. So I think because, again, first out of the gate, even though he had labored over the Apollonia 6 album, it's coming out in October. Like, it's crazy to think about, like October. And, like we already have the film and everything. It seems like, I don't know. Obviously they had to pace out the albums as well. Like they couldn't be like stacked on top of one another. But I still think October is pretty late for the Apollonia 6 project to come out. And I think part of that could be he knew that it was the end, meaning like that there would not be another Apollonia 6 album. Because I'm sure, I don't know this to be true, we have to interview Apollonia. Apollonia may have told Prince that she was going to be gone, on to the next, her film or TV role, that she wouldn't be able to continue. And so maybe he lost interest in the Apollonia 6 just whole thing because, she wouldn't be there to continue it. But I do think that when it comes to Sheila, and just because I watched that Love Is Our video, the chemistry between Prince and Sheila on stage is undeniable as musicians. Mm-hmm. You cannot not see that. So I think he was extremely excited about the Glamorous Life project and Sheila as a solo musician. So that's the reason why she got a little bit more than, let's say, even the time. Or yeah,
I guess Morris had already left anyway.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
And who was going to be the band for Apollonia 6? I guess.
Right.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Yep.
So let me ask y'all this question. Let's say we get a third version. So you get Vanity 6, you get Apollonia 6,
and Brenda 6.
Yeah. Say whoever it is, you get a third girl that comes in. At that point, do they officially become Menudo?
Hilarious.
I'm just wondering, like if you bring in a third girl, is it at that point Menudo? That's all. I just wanted to know. Would it be Menudo 6 by then?
Okay.
And how many young people in the chat have no idea what I'm talking about? All right, that's it. Let's move on.
You got to break it down for the peoples.
So Menudo, if you know what's got Ricky, is it Ricky Martin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ricky Martin.
Is it?
Is it Ricky Martin?
Would it be Apollonia 8?
What's the name? Ricky. It's Ricky something. He did Living La Vida Loca and
Rico Suave.
His name was
not Rico Suave. Yeah,
no, his name was Ricky Melendez.
Oh.
I don't think
was it Ricky Menendez?
Yeah, it's
okay.
Ricky Melendez.
No, somebody's saying Ricky Martin.
Real dirty right now.
Yeah, I thought Ricky Martin was in Menudo too.
They all look alike. It's like Pepe.
Yeah, let's move on. There you go. So, but anyway, so for people who don't know, Menudo was a Latin group that was tied to AIDS.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. He replaced Ricky Melendez.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a Latin New Edition.
There you go, the Latin New Edition. Yeah, Menudo was the Latin New Edition, but the only difference was you aged out. So once you got to a certain age, they would bring in new singers, which I thought that was odd, but clearly it worked because they kept selling records. So that's so for those don't know about Menudo,
this is a business production.
There you go. They were completely business production. And I just had to add in the end that I unashamedly, I really love Shake It Bum Bum by Ricky Martin. That's all I'm gonna say. I like Shake It Bum Bum. I know y'all gonna take my purple card They're gonna take my black card. Shake your bum bum, shake your bum bum, shake your bum bum. Go around the world in a day. Don't say no, say no, say no. So shake your bum bum. That's it. I shut up.
And I love this boy band business. That's right. And I didn't realize that. That's
Yep,
kind of
16.
great.
Once you got 16, once your voice changed, it was time to go, player.
Huh. And Tanja says Ricky Martin Live is an insane show.
Yeah, Ricky Martin. Hey, shake your bum bum, player. Go ahead.
All right.
Don't get
So
that VIP package, but all right.
okay, so Paris, France. I don't have anything. If anybody has anything for this, please let me know. A photo, a video. However, D68A always comes through. So if you want to see the Stockholm show, you can do so on D68A's channel. And there is another rehearsal that Prince did at the Met Center on that Friday. But then on Saturday, yes.
Dang.
She was
That's like them 80s fine. Like I was still a little young, but somehow you went to the dance party or something, and there was that one fine chick from the school came in. You was like, well, you ain't gonna say nothing to her. Like, oh, sit down. Like, God damn.
Yes, and I love this outfit, which is the top part is from the album cover that we all love. And you can also watch the Netherlands show on D68A's channel. So thank you so much for your service, D68A. And these are also in the accompanying playlist. All right. So we talked about this photographer. Again, I'm not going to bastardize their name because I can't pronounce it, but they have some amazing photos. And this is a shot of the band. And you can see Eddie M, to the left. Say it again, Michael. I didn't hear you.
Is that Miko with the red jacket?
Yes.
Michael Jackson whip going.
Yeah. And like the Cheap Trick pattern. I don't know if anybody.
Yep, I love Cheap. I want you to want me. I need you to need me. Thank you for that Cheap Trick. I love that song. Cheap Trick Live is one of the best albums out there. Check out that Cheap Trick Live. We return you now back to what they do.
Now own that. That's all right. Own that.
All right.
No, but listen, real quick. Salute to my man Eddie M.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that's a wild placement for the handcuffs, sir. That's a wild. I thought my man Larry Blackman was wild. That's a wild. That would have been a wild cultural look if that popped off. Like, woo!
Yes. All right.
You were early with that one.
For sure. So these are some of the photos that you can purchase from the photographer through that Facebook link if you're interested. I love the first column, the one in the middle. That's the one that I got because I just think it's an amazing shot of Sheila, but there are others that you can choose from. Again, I'm not getting paid. I just think he's an amazing photographer and a great way to start your photography collection if you're into photography. All right.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Looking at that picture, so when did Levi join Sheila's band?
That's a good question.
So clearly after that. So was Levi in the band? Was he in the band for the Purple Rain tour?
I
feel like he came around the second, but I could be wrong.
Okay, the second. Okay, so more around 86.
I think so.
Because Levi, according to Brother Dean's interview, Levi was the one who auditioned the three members of Tony.
Yeah, 86.
So 86. Okay, cool.
Yeah, 86. I got a confirmation from a source that knows more than I. The Lionel Sheila show when Sheila opened up for Lionel.
Right.
That's when yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's you know the Commodore. Well, the Commodores are from Tuskegee, Alabama.
Yes, indeed.
I remember, so that's what we call them in Alabama. We call them Lionel.
That's a real name. You ain't got that boy name Lionel. Everybody knows that. Everybody know who you talking about.
Yeah.
That's the name, Lionel. Mama call him Lionel. I'ma call him Lionel.
Oh yes, yes. So Brian, yes, Miko is in Sheila. I mean, Miko's there right now. Miko is in the one in the black and white and the red.
Cheap Trick.
Yeah, Cheap Trick, right behind Sheila.
It doesn't look like it's not him, but the guy standing next to Sheila, it kind of reminds me of Homie from New York Undercover.
Yeah, Yeah. Yeah, I totally see that.
Yep.
Eyes.
Sure.
Man, Eddie M, stop it. And close up the hole, bro. Stop playing like you trying to stop it. Tighten the hole up. It ain't that.
This is a great photo though. It's pretty incredible. All right. Okay. So we're gonna rush through this because of time. Oh my God, we just got 10 minutes. Yeah. Music break. Okay. I'm gonna solo myself just because I love me some Jimmy. And this is the box set that I highly recommend that you get. You actually get the documentary about how they built Electric Lady Studios. And then you also get 20 songs that are newly mixed in 5.1 surround sound that were recorded at Electric Lady. And I want to show you some of the covers. And this is the booklet that comes with it. This is what Electric Lady Studios looked like. It doesn't look like this anymore, but when it was built originally. And I love this photo of Jimmy. And it's like a nice, a lot of, good stuff inside, including like the blueprints for Electric Lady. And I'm going to show you the album covers because I think the art is pretty awesome. It's 5 albums.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And you can also get it on CD if you don't want to get the album to get all of the additional information. And thank you for indulging me. But again, I love me some Jimmy.
This is cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And great shot. Love that shot. And you can see some of the studio. I wish we could get some of this like for Paisley Park, like the Paisley Park blueprints, some more of the shots inside. Like this is in all of the shots on the back of the albums are shots from Electric Lady Studios. So if you're into Jimmy, you don't want to sleep on this box set. It just came out.
When does this, what time period does this cover?
This is actually like 70, it's roughly 70. Like 1970, which when I was born in 1970, but it's basically when it had just opened.
Okay.
Electric Lady. So yeah,
it's dope to see another artist box set sort of special edition, like that's cool to see that.
Yeah, and it's actually really reasonably priced in my personal opinion. You get 5 albums and a Blu-ray, and it was like $135. So that's really good price. And you can get the CD box set for, I want to say it's like 60. I can't remember. It's 50 something. All right. So we got to say, give respect to Jimmy. Rob-tober is in full effect at the Blue Note. For those of you who are into, yes, Rodney, 1970 was a great year. And yes, I'm happy someone else agrees with me. We do need a Paisley Park Studios documentary box set. That would be really awesome.
Documentary box set? Oh, what? Wow. Okay.
Well, that's what this is. The actual.
I'm thinking of the Netflix documentary.
Oh no. I think the documentary that's included in the Jimi Hendrix box set is literally a documentary about how Electric Lady was built. And so I think it would be really fantastic to have a similar documentary about how Paisley Park was built, and like having the blueprints and all of that. So yeah, for sure.
That would be dope.
All right. So Rocktober is going on from October 2nd to November 3rd, 2 shows every night. He has a gazillion guests who are coming and going. So, certain people will be there certain nights and other people won't. I know Stokely is huge in the Prince community. So Stokely is going to be performing on some nights. I don't know which ones he will. And then I'm super excited about going to see Michelle Indegelcello on Sunday at NJPAC, which is the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. I don't know if when I bought my tickets, it was almost sold out. I don't know if it's sold out or not. And then I'm going to go see Bilal this week as well. So I'm going to see 2 shows this week. I'm super excited to hear the new album, which is called Adjust Brightness live, which is really weird for me because normally I would hear a lot of Bilal songs live before I get them recorded. And this is like one of the first albums that I haven't had that happen, with the exception of the first one, of course. Then Andre's coming to BAM. Andre's coming to the Fox Theater in Atlanta. Andre's coming to Seattle, just all over the place. Then there's going to be this amazing tribute to funk with Bilal, Nona Hendrix, Christian McBride, Savion Glover, Vernon Reed, and George Clinton at NJPAC as well, New Jersey Performing Arts Center, on November 14th. And Corey Henry is also doing a smaller residency at the Blue Note in New York from December 3rd through 8th. 2 shows every night. Love this image. Love Corey Henry. Obviously, everyone should know that you should go see them. How many bodies? Everybody. All right. Purple World. I can't wait to get my hands on my copy. Everybody else has this book, and I don't have it yet. What I love about this book is that it's like a retrospective of all the photographers, it seems, and actually the photographer that we showcased during this particular episode is also has images in this particular book. But the cover is Steve Park. I personally love this cover. I love just the detail of Prince's eyes and how he's looking directly at us. I don't know, Celia and Michael, if you guys have had an opportunity. I haven't been on social media because I don't want to see anything from the book. So I haven't seen anybody post anything about it. But
I have to say that I haven't seen any pictures from it either that I know of.
Okay. Oh, yes. And so let's see. Christina's saying, why can't I find my miles? That I have my book. It is gorgeous.
This is out now? This book is out?
Yeah, it just came out this week.
Yeah, you can actually get it from Amazon right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What they hitting for?
$58.
Okay.
But I think it's a thick book though. I don't
coffee table.
Yeah, it's a coffee table book. Yeah, for sure. And Keith Upchurch is saying Levi came during the flesh. That makes sense. Came during the flesh sessions at the end of 85.
Appreciate that.
Yes. Yes, Carol. I love your comments. Beautiful pick of Prince, so serene and into the soul look. Let's see. Yes. So Audrey's with me.
Such an interesting. He is so visually interesting too. I mean, that's an understatement, but I mean, it reminds me when I first seen the second album cover. You can't help but look at this person and like, wow, he looks interesting in a beautiful way, but it's a striking way. Like, this is a black man that has a very sort of striking appearance. It almost, like, when I first saw Prince, I literally thought he was some Egyptian prince. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, where is he from? Like, he just looks in that picture. I mean, as much as his music is the thing, visually, he is just a piece of art himself. It's fascinating.
And then you put on top of that the fashion and the style and the swag.
Yeah, it's just overwhelming. It's just like, wow, one person have. You could just be a picture of him, and you'll look at it. You'll be like, wow, there's something that draws you into it, even if if you don't necessarily like it, or you're like, wow, that's crazy, but he looks like you can't take your eyes away from him. You know what I mean? Like, just like, wow. Yeah. I can imagine being a woman. Well, I guess a dude too, but just like,
I'm so sorry.
Look at Mom's like,
yeah. Marcus G is. I'm laughing because of Man Ray's quote, which is quoted from Jamie Foxx, where Jamie Foxx says, "Never look Prince in the eyes." Yes. All right.
I also want to say, Carol Brooks had the quote about local bookstores, and I'll tell people that not only use local bookstores, order from local bookstores too. Right? A lot of people think if I go to the bookstore, they don't have it. Well, you're gonna order from online anyway. You're gonna order from Amazon. So if you're gonna order from Amazon, go ahead and give your local bookstore that, in order it'll be the same thing. And a lot of people don't think about that. They think, well, it's easier to order from Amazon, but it does help when you purchase local. Just like we tell people, help shop at your local record store collector.
Mhm.
Shop at your local bookstore, because they're banning books. They're still banning books. And the one power that we have against book banning is supporting the bookstores that will sell the books that they want to get banned. I'll shut up.
Thank you for that public service announcement. That's really important. All right, we're almost done because we're out of time. So definitely, if you haven't contributed to the GoFundMe for Dr. Funkenberry, I hope that you will. Again, the slides, so you can just Google GoFundMe, Dr. Funkenberry, you should be able to find it. Then we have the accompanying playlist. And next week, we'll be reading pages 427 to 436 in the book for week number 41. And we'll be talking about more rehearsals for the Purple Rain tour. Yes, from the family, basic tracking for condition of the heart, mixing, Paisley Park mix. And Michael Dean, take us on out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this session today. Salute to D'Angela. Salute to Minister Seeley. But salute to everybody in the chat. Too many to name, but we see you. We love you. You guys are as more a part of this show possibly than us. We could not do it without each other. Man, have a great rest of your week. Go listen to some Prince music, whatever year or era that you want to go listen to some. Just kick back, vibe out to some Prince music. Go watch a movie, watch Under the Cherry Moon. I watched that last week. It's such a fun movie. You gotta love it. Or Purple Rain or any of the other movies. But with that, work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace.